Welcome back to the video. This was a film I thought would be the sickle film of the week until I watched Passion of the Christ. This is Untold Story, which I got in import, which it's, I'm trying to see the label. Unearthed Classics is the label. Now the reason I show this is because this is a very good package. You get the film. You get 3 commentaries, one by Anthony Wong, the actor, one by the director, and one by some critics. You get interviews as well, but you also get an hour and a half Callum Waddle documentary all about Category 3 films. That this film is a Category 3 Hong Kong film, because Hong Kong had different categories for the films for the rating board, and the Category 3 was the grown-up, over 18, this film is brutal, don't show to children type of thing, and that's where for a long time, the excesses that came over to different countries came from Category 3 in Hong Kong. And Asian Movie Enthusiast covered the documentary on a recent video, so I would recommend going to his channel and find that documentary. But I'm covering the film itself, because the film is utterly depraved. And wonderful, but it's one of those films that you get from Hong Kong all the time. It's really flawed, but the flaws don't matter. It's like there's a whole section of this film that is utterly worthless. Anytime you go to the police, for 2/3 of the film, first 2/3 of the film, anytime you have a scene with the police, useless scene. It's attempted comedy, but the police are incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. They're all overacting. Danny Lee's the chief policeman. He comes in every so often with all these beautiful women who turn out to be prostitutes. There's jokes about that. Yeah. A cultural thing, I suppose. But all the police below him cannot do any even basic stuff and had been told by him to do it. That's the kind of thing. And there's a proto-feminist cop. She's trying to show herself off, trying to be tough, and it's embarrassing. But the actress tries her best with very bad material and is very enthusiastic with not much. So the actress is fun to watch, but the material's garbage. So for 2/3 of the film, this one whole subsection is utterly awful. But you've got the Anthony Wong section of the killer, and it's so outrageous, so depraved, so weird, that it's another level great. Even when you're ready to puke for some of the stuff he does. Because this is a spoiler video. I'll start off by explaining the film and things, but I'm going to eventually get to spoilers, so I'll tell you when I'm going to spoilers, okay? But it is really depraved. This is based on a apparent true story about a guy who took over a shop, and people thought he took it over from by illegal means, and people started disappearing around him. Now, that could have been something used for a classy psychological thriller, a Hitchcockian thriller. It could have been used for anything, but this is used for exploitation, which means lots of body parts. Lots and lots of body parts. So many body parts. And also so much bad taste. And essentially the film is an exercise on topping itself. Like every 20 minutes it's going to top itself with something even more grotesque. So I'm warning you right now, the first minute someone set fire. You're thinking, whoa, that's pretty strong. That's a really strong start to a film. Then other stuff happens that are way stronger and way more, and it keeps on upping itself. Like each time something happens, it's a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger, and by the end it's like, oh my god, he's doing what? And there's a couple of oh my god, he's doing what in between those scenes as well. And it's all carried by Anthony Wong, who did not want to do this film. He was signing a contract before he saw the script. He did not want to do it. He was not happy with doing it. But then he went for it, and it's a weird performance because sometimes he seems to be setting it up, and other times he seems to be all in. But the character's so weird, you're not really sure It just seems appropriate for the character. Like, the character's self-aware he's a lunatic, but he's also really into what he's doing, so it kind of works. That approach really works. An actor I'm not quite sure should be all in or not in a film for this kind of character really, really delivers. It's wonderful. Even when he's making weird faces, you're thinking, most directors would not let you do that. Most directors would say, do it again. It's just wonderful. And he just pitches the performance so high that no matter what he does, you just want to see what he can do next. You know, even when his character's doing things that are stupid, it's wonderful to watch him go crazy. This character's a lunatic. This character is just insane. And that's why I'd highly recommend buying this film. Because you're not going to see anything like it. If you're up for seeing top level gore and real disturbing stuff, this film's for you. If you have the guts for that, it's film for you. If you want to see a really great performance in a total schlock fest, this film's for you. It won an award for this performance in this totally schlocky film. That's how good it is. And it's so above the rest of the film. But the mix of that performance and the gore just makes it perfect. Even if you have to sit through some terrible crop scenes. It doesn't matter because the other stuff's so good that it's like I can get through these crop scenes just to get to the good stuff. And I'm pretty sure if you watch it again, you're probably just going to fast forward through the crop scenes just to get to the Anthony Wong stuff. Now we're going to spoilers. It's not much fun to talk about this film without spoilers. Honestly, the film is insane. But I'll try to give you an idea of why you should watch it. Now we're going to spoilers. And mainly spoilers as me talking about the gore stuff. Really. Because there's not that much of a plot. Okay, right, the gore is astonishing, right? It starts out with him, he's trying to get the ownership of the restaurant passed over to him, and people try to work out what's happened to the people who are missing, the whole family's missing. And he's trying to get his ownership, saying, this guy sold it to me, but he's moved away, so how can I get the signature to put own the company now? And it's causing him frustration. But he's also frustrated with people at work. People who he's hired to chop meat and things and serve the customers are getting a bit suspicious. And one of them calls him a crook because he cheated in a game. So he kills the guy, of course. And then rips the meat off his body in very gruesome detail, pulls the bones out, and then puts the thing through the meat through a mincer, puts it inside the pies he's selling to the customers, and sells them so they're eating human flesh after it's been cooked. And then he takes the bones, puts in a bag, and takes it out and puts it in the bin, his back bin, because he knows when the binmen come, the binmen never check anything. And the binmen just take the body away. Because no one's suspicious of that, because no one picks that stuff up, it just gets automatically put in the rubbish bin. That's the first thing you see him now in this restaurant. Then it gets worse. Then the woman who runs it, who runs the till for him, gets suspicious when the police start coming around. So he then rapes and kills her, and he inserts some chopsticks where they shouldn't be inserted in one sequence. And a lot of blood spurts out, and it's like, oh my god, you haven't done that, have you? It's astonishing. You won't believe where this guy's going. Then he's getting hunted down by the cops, goes into prison, and does all sorts of other stuff with gory stuff, including drinking piss. Yeah, I know, it's weird. Then he's trying to escape and all other kind of stuff happens. And then finally, we get to the final scene. We actually see him kill the family from the flashback. And it's like, it's seen this long, this many grotesque scenes to get to that point. I mean, you see it thinking, oh, he's going to cut away. You're just going to see the first little bit, they're going to cut away. He can kill the father. No, you see him kill all the children. There are 4 children. One of them gets stuck in the neck with a bottle. One of them gets decapitated and the head drops off. And he's just Anthony Wong's looking utterly insane throughout it. And it's like, I cannot believe I'm watching this. there's no way in the British film this would be allowed. I mean, when you thought we saw the rape of that woman earlier on, you think, well, that's as far as this is going to go. Nope. I mean, the only thing that keeps you going to watch it is the blood looks really fake. If the blood looked any better, it would have made you go, oh, I'm turning this off. I mean, that's the film. That's the craziness of the film. It's just this weird character who you can see behind me just being odd and killing lots of people, and you've seen it in gruesome detail. And every time you think, well, they're not going to show that, they show it. And by the second half of the movie, the cops are actually trying to track him down. They actually have some motivation. They actually become like competent. It just makes it more and more intense as I try to get a confession out of him, because he's not going to confess, and they don't have any proof because they can't find the bodies. So they have to get a confession out of him to charge him. They'll get proof of something's weird, but they don't have proof that he killed him. And it's just a lot of weird psychological games they play, and lots of weird things they do to him, and it's like injecting water into his back and things like that, and it's just utterly gruesome, keeping him awake, and the character's still utterly crazy, and his performance is so crazy that everything he does feels normal for him. It just feels like, yeah, I see him doing it. That's how weird it is. That's how I have to see all the stuff he does. Because you think, how can a performance actually bring all this together and actually make it logical? This performance does. It's ultimate and crazy. And it's crazy doing stuff you should not be putting in a film, but this film did. This is category 3 Hong Kong, because they didn't care about good taste at all. I mean, I could not see this film getting a British certification thing. I just do not see it happening. There's so much to cut out of this film, and it's one of those films that's so extreme that it's a wonder to see it. But it's not a film you're going to be wanting to watch anytime soon, because it's so extreme and so dark. And it's also darkly funny, which makes it even worse, because the gore is a bit over the top, and in fact he's feeding people, the victims. It's hilarious, but then every time it's hilarious, it turns into something much darker as you see other things happening, and it's like it just switches back and forth from tastefully funny to really disturbing. And why did you do that in a film? This film does not care at all. It does not care at all about your sensibilities or your good taste. It will disturb you. That's all I've got to say about the film, because you just have to see it to believe it. It's just insane. It's utterly insane. There's just not much more I can say about it. It's just completely out there. But the disc is worth getting. All the extras are good, and you'll see one of the most depraved films ever made. That's a whole level of weird. And even though the cop stuff is garbage for the first half of the film, the Anthony Wong stuff is things you would not believe you've seen. So I hope you kind of enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting. I'll be back soon with another video, but this is quite an experience. So I'll see you later.